Hi guys, thank you for joining me on Paris Grace. For this video, what I would like to do is upcycle this Gucci tote bag. Now this bag is made of the knit monogram fabric, and so what is classic that happens to these with the regular use is the wear in the corners, such as these. Okay. And the wear on the edge up here. Sometimes you will find, occasional damage like this. So my plan is to trim in leather the whole top portion and also create a bottom part in leather. So that's the plan. Now this is very loose, as you can tell. So it doesn't have any form per se. So what I would like to do is also add an insert on the bottom, so it always stays nice and flat. Although the rest of the bag is not going to be quite as flat or firm. But so I bought this on eBay for about $75, and I think it's a good buy. And I don't mind buying things that I can upcycle or improve or fix a little. Now if you're interested in doing something like that, you can shop around. Now this one was bought at auction, but you can also find some other bags that are like buy it now. Now I saw one like this one, but with the color web in the green and red, that was about $145. Same issues, but just a little bit worse in shape. So just take your time, look through the pages, and find one that best suits you. So stay tuned for this project. So what I think I would like to do first is to rip the seams. So open the bag from the bottom and figure out how it is that I'm going to attach sort of a bottom leather. You're going to be able to see about an inch on the sides, and it's going to be the whole bottom side is going to be covered in the leather. It's going to be a brown leather, so it goes nicely with the rest of the bag. Same thing with this part. So what I would like to do is rip the seams here and just create a new edge. I will be removing the lining so I can work with just the outer panel of the bag, and that will really allow me to sew the leather onto it. So I'm using one of these seam rippers, and that allows me to get in the stitching to remove that. Now what I'm finding here is that this fold is held together by some type of glue. Could be, looks like glue, not so much double-sided tape. So because this has a couple of seams, it takes some patience to get through this whole process. So you're ripping one of the seams right here and then getting further into the material to cutting through the second seam right here. But it's a little challenging because this particular glue is quite thick and very, very tacky still. So getting the tool through that is going to require a little bit of extra time. So I'm going to take my time here, and I will go around the whole top stitching here. Thank you. And there you go. So what I will be doing now, as you can tell, here's the glue that I was mentioning. It looks like a double-sided tape of sorts. The lining is also glued to the rest of this panel, which is going to create a little bit of an issue for me. But I think I will be cutting the material right there. So when I turn it over, so I would be cutting it right here. So the new leather trim will go right here all around. Now I'm starting in the bottom of the bag, so I just picked a spot and started ripping the seams here. There is no glue here, so it's pretty straightforward. I'll just be ripping the seam from end to end, and also the seams right here. So this is what the bottom looks like undone. Okay, it's cut in a certain way to create the squared bottom of the bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 panels of the leather in this very shape, but as you can tell, like right here, this is where the corner goes, right here. So I want to go a little bit above that, so the leather essentially is going to be this whole section on each side. So then that's going to allow me to put it back together, and it's going to be a leather bottom with about 1 inch going above on the sides. It's going to make a little bit more sense once I get started, but as you can tell, because of this particular material, I'm going to have to rip the seams on this so like the leather can go underneath, and then this will be sewn on top of that. So I finished doing the whole bottom part, and then just wanted to show you that I had to undo the seams on this because the leather is going to go underneath and that this will be over it, so that it looks, you know, the way it's supposed to. And I wanted to show you that this also has that double-sided tape that allows, you know, at the time of manufacturing this item, it allows for this particular ribbon to stay in place before it's sewn on each side. I will be using the leather from this skirt. It's a lighter shade of brown, but I think that will look nice. Now, this is somewhat of a mini skirt, so the material doesn't really quite match the length of what I need. As you can tell right here, it's just a little bit shorter, so I'm going to try to make the best of it somehow. Okay, so at this point in time, I've used double-sided tape to attach the piece of leather, and once it's fixed to the fabric, it will be ready to be sewn. Now here, what I'm going to do is cut the excess so it matches the fabric from the back. So as I described before, I actually rip the seam from this ribbon so that now it can go over the piece of leather. So what I would like to do now is get everything ready to be, you know, like attach all the pieces of leather. So the next step will just be to sew everything. And what I'm noticing here, as I said before, this is glued, the lining here is glued to the fabric of the bag. So I'm going to have to separate at least one section, one side, from here to here, so that I can turn the material over and be able to sew this part from the inside out. I will be going ahead and cut this. I won't be needing that. Now to the top edge of the bag where the straps are, I will be removing the excess of fabric, most of which was, you know, pretty much worn off on the other side. So now I'm going to begin working on the top edge of the bag here, and this is the section that has a couple of damaged areas. So I'm hoping to use a piece of leather to cover that one section. Like so. So it would be stitched right on the edges here. And right now I'm considering on top of that using this to kind of just finish the top. Right on the edge of the opening of the bag. Let's see how this goes. So this is the area with the damage. As you can see, one tiny hole here, one tiny hole here. What I'm trying to do here is add a patch of the leather, and I'm kind of centering it based on this part of the monogram, like so. And so the double-sided tape will hold it in place while I sew it around, and then on top of that will be the trim. Now I've kind of undone the lining because obviously I don't need the seams from the patch to be showing on the inside of the bag. So this will only be applied to the outside monogram fabric, and then I will close it up again right here. So here's the patch of leather attached. At this point I've added this material to kind of finish the inside of the trim. So here it is, guys. Now the trim is on the outside, so it's on the inside and on the outside to finish that edge. This material you can purchase at Hobby Lobby. So this is the way the bag looks right now. And then remember that I also had done the leather base, so I think it turned out just as expected. Okay guys, so here's the end result. Just to recap, I actually added some leather to the bottom so that it's a little bit more sturdy and covers the damage from on the corners. And then right here there's a patch on the back side of the bag that covers a couple of tiny little holes. And then of course, originally this bag did not have an edge on the top here, so now it does. And you have here again the end result. So if you have a bag that needs a little bit more, TLC, and you want to bring it back to life, a couple of different things you could do to make it last a little bit longer. This Gucci bag will have a little bit more life in it to go from here. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave your comments, and stay tuned. Thank you for joining me on Paris Grace.